A Thief's Fortune from Artipia Games is an engine building game where your engine building is constantly evolving through a conveyor belt system. The cards on the left hand side in a pile are your past, the cards in the middle tableau are your present, and with a flourish at the end you can see your future, which, let's be fair, is looking fairly bleak. The past pile is purely for point scoring at the end. This little roof on the bottom right corner scores you points at the end of the game. The future section allows you to see which cards will be coming into your tableau in the future. When you place a card, you pop the resource on it as indicated in the top left corner. It's usually 1 or 2 resources, and whenever that resource leaves that card, it will enter into the relevant row in your present. Your present has 3 rows. You have the locations at the top, which trigger when certain things happen. For example, whenever a friend character is placed in your present, you may reset a character. Your characters are your main engine, and they can be tapped to take their actions once a turn. Here we are paying some gems to get some victory points. And events work a bit like characters, except they get immediate victory points and then are placed straight into your past deck. Should you ever have more than 4 cards, the card on the far left is taken to your past and you slide the next card in. So you can have a maximum of 4 cards in each place. There are 5 rounds, and each round you're allowed to take a certain amount of loot from cards in the future, and there is an area for a shared future should you wish to play with it. A Thief's Fortune is a really interesting engine building game, and I know sometimes when reviewers say interesting they mean rubbish, but I absolutely loved playing A Thief's Fortune. Let's go for some negatives first. The theme is neither here nor there really. I guess there's some genie stuff, past, present and future, but this is pure engine building game, and I found when I was lost in the mechanics of, if I take this card from my future, that's going to push this card out of my present into my past, which I do want to do because I want to score points, but I'd like to use that power a few more times. Then for me, the theme didn't really matter. It is a low confrontation game. There are some cards where you can steal from other people or put things on other people's future cards, and you can play in advanced mode where you share some future cards. But all in all, it is low confrontation and you're really focused in on your engine. For me, that needs to be that way because there's so much to focus on. Not in a bad way, not in an overwhelming way, but you just want to be aware of not knocking out cards that you don't want to knock out and not be distracted too much by what everyone else is doing. You can kind of tell what they're doing by the movement of their cards and the score track that keeps track of their current score. So there's kind of enough where you have to keep an eye on what they're doing but not the exact ins and outs of what they're doing, and you'll have a good idea of what cards they've taken from the draft at the start. The draft works really well. It creates more agonising decisions, as in the first hand you have 5 cards, you choose one, you're thinking I'll keep hold of this one, but then you have to give 2 of those 4 away, then you've only got 4 and you can only keep 1, then you have to give 2 away, and there is real potential there for a bit more player interaction because you can ditch players with cards they don't want or don't need if the right circumstances come up. But it's a nice way of dealing with the luck of the draw, and also you get to choose, you take 1 of each card, so 1 character, 1 event, 1 location, and then you choose 2 more. So there is a bit of planning there that you can do. I really like the way the 3 types of cards have specific jobs. There's variety within them, but the location cards are always going to trigger by another event in the game. The character cards, they're your main engine. They're the ones you can tap and use again and try and combo, but you can also combo them into events which are one-use tap. You use it once, like the character cards, but then it goes into your scoring pile, and they usually score you points immediately and do not score you points at the end. I like the use of resources, the way they go onto the future cards, so you can see what's coming and you can influence the future to make what you want to come into your present come quicker. But sometimes that's at the cost of this danger, or as we started calling it, hate for some reason. But then again, you can manipulate your cards and events so that you can deal with the danger or use it to score points. Or that's where some more of the player interaction comes in, ditch the other players with some danger when they didn't really want it. All in all, I think A Thief's Fortune is a really, really tight engine building game with this conveyor belt system that reminds me a little bit of Imaginarium, except you're not being forced to dismantle your machines and just get rid of them for a few resources. You're actually pushing them in an order that you can sort of control, and certain cards let you control it more. Once they're locked in the present, unless you have a location that lets you influence that, then you can't change them. But if you can get some of those locations, that gives you even more control. So I feel like it's the challenge in Imaginarium was the tightness. You have these 4 spaces. There's efficiency there. There is an efficiency challenge in A Thief's Fortune, but there's more forgiveness there because you can still build up and go again quite quickly and quite easily. The version I was playing with was a clear prototype. 3 of the resources, the basic resources, are all going to be wooden, nice wooden pieces, swords, lamps and gems in the game. I think the gems might be acrylic plastic. The improved scoreboard over the first Kickstarter is nice, having a place to store everything, having a place for the common future cards if you play that variant. I've been really impressed with this one. If you like engine building games with a touch of drafting and hand management, then you are going to like this game. If you want something with high conflict, then you're going to have to keep a close eye on the cards that allow that and look for what stretch goals and what extras you can add in, because it will be relatively easy to add in a load of cards that are more conflict based into this game. So still one worth checking out. This is currently on Kickstarter right now. The link's going to be below in the bottom. I encourage you to go have a look at Thief's Fortune from Artipia Games. Thanks very much for watching Board Deck and Dice, and we'll see you next time.